There's been a major development in the killing of a Sikh activist that led to diplomatic rifts between Canada and India. CBC News has learned that the police have made several arrests in connection to the shooting of Hardeep Singh Nijjar outside of a Sikh temple in Surrey, British Columbia last June. Let's turn to CBC's Evan Dyer, who's in Ottawa, with more on this. Evan, what do you know?
Hi, Natasha. Well, this is the culmination of a long investigation into the murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Sikh activist who was killed in June of last year, shot down outside of a Gurdwara in Surrey, BC. Not too long after that, 2 months after those events, 3 months after those events, excuse me, I should say, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau rose in the House of Commons and publicly accused the government of India of being behind those events. Of course, there's been a murder investigation ever since, as well as a national security investigation into these matters, and we're learning that arrests were made this morning by the Integrated Homicide team in BC, and we believe arrests were made in BC and in Alberta, and already a charging document has appeared in the BC court system with the name of one individual, Karen Brar. So he was born in 2001, a 23-year-old, and we believe that all of the members excuse me, of this group are young men who entered Canada in the last few years, since 2021. They come from Punjab and Haryana states in India and are members of a criminal association or a criminal organization associated with Punjabi gangster by the name of Lawrence Bishnoi. So we're expecting for some court appearances over the next few days where we may learn more about these charges. But these are the people who are actually accused of being the shooters, the hit squad, the drivers, getaway drivers, and so on in that assassination that happened last June.
Remind us, if you could, Evan, about Nijjar and why he's such a significant figure in this story.
Well, Hardeep Singh Nijjar is a sort of a deputy to the person who you might consider to be India's public enemy number one when it comes to the Khalistani or Sikh separatist movement. That is a figure in New York who is also the subject of an alleged murder conspiracy, which also has been linked back to Indian government officials by the U.S. Investigators in that case. So both men were involved in organizing referenda around the world in Sikh diaspora communities about Sikh independence. Of course, these referenda had no binding impact on the Indian government, but they did very much annoy the Indian government and annoyed Prime Minister Modi, who is currently in an election campaign that is expected to lead to a third term, although we won't finally get results until June 4th. So these two, there's been a lot of dispute about how much of a threat to India the Khalistani movement really is anymore. It's much more a diaspora movement rather than an active separatist insurgency in India, which really is not occurring. But certainly the Indian government had identified Khalistanis publicly as enemies of the state, as people who represented a threat to national security. And we've seen Indian officials, including Prime Minister Modi, hinting, in fact, during his last election campaign, giving speeches about how India would reach out and go after its enemies no matter where they were in the world. And so we have seen killings in Canada.